Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is Muhammad Suhail, Assistant Professor of English from Department of English Language and Literature, Government Postgraduate College, Attack. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum, and I welcome you to my online class with the hope that you will be preparing yourself for the exam with full devotion and enthusiasm. The topic for today's lecture is Othello's last speech and T.S. Eliot's views about it. So, first we shall read the speech and then discuss it, what has been expressed by T.S. Eliot about it. So, Othello, soft you, a word or two. I have done the state some services, and they know it. No more of that. I pray you in your letters, when you shall these unlucky deeds relate, speak of them as they are, nothing extenuate, nor set down aught in malice. Then must you speak of one that loved not wisely, but too well, of one not easily jealous, but being wrought, perplexed in the extreme, of one whose hand, like the best Indian, threw a pearl away, richer than all his tribe, of one whose subdued eyes, albeit unused to the melting mood, drops tears as fast as the Arabian trees their medicinal gum. Set you down this, and say beside that in Aleppo once, where a malignant and turbaned Turk beat a Venetian and traduced the state, I took by the throat the circumcised dog and smote him thus. He stabs himself. So, students, you can see that here what Othello is doing is that he is trying to make all the audience that they should pay heed towards the services that had been rendered by him for the state. And he also asked them, just like a straightforward and brave figure, he is also requesting them that they should not add or delete anything and relate the incident what that has been observed by them. And he also admits his fault, as he could not make the true estimate of the worth of Desdemona, who just like a pearl came to his hand, but he, like a base Indian, could not realize her worth and threw her away out of his ignorance. And he also admits that he has he is not one that can be made jealous easily, but this jealousy had been worked upon him, and he got what somewhat baffled when it was to extended to its extreme. And he started shedding tears over the loss. And he also once again tries to divert the attention of the audience towards his loyalty for the state, that he has stabbed a turbaned Turk who had beaten a Venetian and he had also spoken ill of the state. And by concluding his speech, he also stabbed himself. This is what that is the speech of Othello is. And now we come towards the viewpoint or the criticism of T.S. Eliot regarding this very speech. He declares that by introducing or by choosing such words, Othello is trying to heap heap up or collect for himself what the cheap favors of the audience. He is endeavoring to escape reality. He has ceased to think about Desdemona and is thinking about himself. This shows somewhat unjustifiable behavior of Othello, that he is only thinking about himself. He is pleading his own case, and he has set aside the case of Desdemona, who is regarded as the victim of his error of judgment. But he pays only heed towards his own case. He is endeavoring to escape reality. That is, according to T.S. Eliot, he is trying to evade reality. He has ceased to think about Desdemona and is thinking about himself. This shows somewhat, you may say, selfishness of Othello, and he has ignored the case of Desdemona, who even at the last moment of her life was trying to make Othello free of the charge that it was not my lord who has done it. Now we come to the next point. Humility is the most difficult of all virtues to achieve. Nothing dies harder than the desire to think well of oneself. Dear students, you know, humility is regarded as a virtue. When one comes to the conclusion that something wrong has been done by him or her, and if he openly accepts his fault, but even then it is very difficult to accept this very reality, because being a human being, he will always keep on trying to present himself as undaunted figure, as a figure who has done nothing. He will try to give one or the other excuse for what he has done. So, it is what that humility to face is very difficult of all virtues. And nothing dies harder than the desire to think well of oneself. Every person on the earth always keeps on thinking that he is right. And when it comes to him that he is not right, something wrong has been done by him, and some other person has fallen prey to his wrongdoing, or he has become the victim of his wrongdoing, then even then he will keep on pleading his case as to try to free himself of the charge. And this is what Othello is trying, that he is trying to divert the attention of the audience towards his services towards state, and also that he has loved Desdemona too well, but no doubt not widely. Othello succeeds in turning himself into pathetic figure by adopting an aesthetic rather than a moral attitude, dramatizing himself against his environment and what he has tried and what he has earned, that Othello has succeeded in turning himself into a pathetic figure, that he has succeeded in arousing the feelings of pity and fear in the heart of the audience by portraying himself as a person who had been what treated unjustly, and he tries to shoulder away this responsibility by adopting what an aesthetic rather than a moral attitude, that he has chosen what very flowery and bombastic kind of the verse in his own favor in order to plead his case successfully, dramatizing himself against his environment, that all the environment that had been all the circumstances that were against him. But what he has done, he has dramatically presented himself and has succeeded in winning the favors of the audience. And this is what T.S. Eliot's criticism is about the last speech of Othello, that he cheers himself just by quoting a very fantastic kind of the speech. He is trying to cheer himself only. Okay, students, this is all for today's lecture, and thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.